So I work in a scientific system that encourages people to do not very good things. And I've been thinking a lot about that lately in terms of why is it that we have this behavior where a lot of people are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And the truth is that we can't fix that. The truth is it's human behavior. And I've been thinking about this a lot in terms of what is going on with the credibility crisis, for example, where lots of people are doing things that are kind of sketchy and other people are arguing about the kind of sketchy things that they're doing. And the truth is that this is a fundamentally difficult problem to solve. And those two groups are going to be fighting back and forth, and they're going to be thinking about how to solve this larger issue. And one side is going to say, this is just my job. This is how I do things. This is what we know. The other side is going to keep saying, what you're doing is not good enough. This is not good enough. And it's not providing the answers that we think we should be providing. And both of those groups are right. They're going to be fundamentally arguing about that credibility crisis and thinking about what they should actually do. And yes, one group should be working really hard. The other group should be criticizing and poking all of the errors with the things that they're actually doing. It's conversation, that's a dialogue that continues to happen. Now the problem is that group is going to continue fighting back and forth, and not a lot is going to happen. The rest of the world, they're not going to care. There's going to be these two groups that are going on and they're fighting back and forth and nothing's happening. But I've been thinking about that in terms of solving the larger issue about what's going on. And my thought is, why not get to the point where you're solving this thing and nobody even knows that you're actually solving this thing? And you take a step back and you give a wink and a nod to all those people that are listening and following along, and they understand what you're trying to do, but everybody else thinks that you're crazy, or they're not paying attention to you at all. So I've been thinking about that a lot with the Reciprocity Project in terms of what is going on and what I'm doing. On one end, I'm sort of providing this tool that everybody clearly sees that there's this platform that's there, and I'm giving a wink and a nod in the other side where everybody can see what I'm actually doing. And solving the larger issue, which I actually think it's a much more profound, deeper thing. That has to do with things that we can't necessarily argue about. It's things like, how do we make sure that people feel complete inside? How do we make sure that they feel that they can tackle something? How do we make sure that there's all these uncertainties that we have? When you're working in an uncertain world, you don't know what the answers actually are. How do I reassure you and say that you're going to be fine every single day? How do I make sure that you're going to get up and it's going to feel good that you get up? Well, the only way that I can do that is do what I do every day. And that is beat in my head right here. Keep thinking in my head, keep talking in my head about how I'm going to be just fine today. And I don't need to do those behaviors that make me feel or put me in a situation where I'm going to regret sometime in the future. I'm going to be stuck sometime in the future. And everybody else is going to be arguing. Everybody else is going to be doing their thing and ignoring and not paying attention. I'm going to be sitting here doing my thing where I'm just doing myself, being happy with who I am. And I think once you get to that moment where you're just happy with who you are, and you can walk forward, you don't have to play any of those games. You don't have to worry about all of those incentives. And everybody's going to be watching this thing that I'm trying to build on one side, this sort of platform. But they don't realize that there's this deeper message that's going on where I'm actually trying to get people to feel good about themselves in moments where there's tremendous amount of uncertainty and you don't know what the answer is. Because that's fundamentally what's going on. Nobody knows what the answer is in science. I hate to break it to you, but we don't. We don't know. And you could do everything right, but it's still not the right answer. And that's true on both sides. Both sides are actually correct. The argument that's going on, both sides are actually correct. There's no right or wrong. But what if I got to a moment where I can do this thing, and in the background, I can get you to smile and get up, I can get you to feel good. I can get to remind you to say, hey, wait a minute, these things actually matter. And yes, the things that we're actually doing are important, but if you make a mistake, that's okay too. If you don't have your identity tied to this thing that you're working on or this thing that you're doing, that's okay too. If it's a complete flop, that is okay too. You're gonna be okay. Every day you get up and you pursue something, it's all that matters is you just feel good at this very moment. And I have all of these pressures just like you every single day. That's why I do this mornings and evenings and all those kind of things. I have a lot of pressure, so I'm thinking about things, but I make time so I can talk to you and make you feel good so that you will go do good things today, regardless of whether you're in science or not. I realize that this is a fundamental problem that's not just in science, something that we face every day in science, but a lot of people face this in life where they are uncertain, they don't know what to do, they're sort of challenged to all these things that are going on. And I'm here to tell you that you're probably right, no matter what you choose to do. And if you make a mistake, you get back up and you pursue that thing, you try to keep going. And if you make a mistake, you own up to it and you say, yep, it was my mistake, I kind of goofed, that was a silly thing for me to actually do. I want you to get up and just feel good. It's essentially what I'm doing. But everybody else is going to be arguing about everything that's going on. They're going to be saying all these things. And you're going to be the one person that's listening to this, giving a smile and a nod, a wink and a nod to everybody that's around you that knows what is actually going on. I know that this is kind of a weird thing to think about, but it's such an important thing to think about. You don't necessarily have to tackle things head on. You can go about it in a roundabout way. You can actually tackle things from different sides. And yes, there are moments, there's many moments where you're not going to agree with many things that happen around you. And you're going to have these sort of deep debates and divides and all that kind of stuff. But you can take a step back and say, no, that's not my problem. I'm not going to tackle that thing. The argument is not going to happen. But instead, what I can do is do the old wink and a nod and go things in a roundabout way. And before the problem even exists, you tackle it. And I want you to think about all of those things that are in your life that this is happening, where you're having all of these tense moments, or where you don't know what you should do, or you're having arguments. Think about tackling it in a roundabout way. How might you do that? How might you actually pursue something where you don't even have that conversation? Or in 10 years, other people say, remember when we used to do that? I forgot about that. That's kind of a weird thing. You can smile and nod and wink. You can think, yep, that was rather intentional. Think about how you can make your life better. What might that look like? Before you get to those arguments, think about how you can adjust yourself where you can feel good, given that there's uncertainty, given all these things that are going on, and you can feel good about this inside so that you can tackle the larger, more important issues that are going on. But then nobody knows that you're actually tackling those more important, larger issues. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.